But you're suggesting that it needs to be more, there needs to be thinking that goes beyond just buying a product that has a stamp on it, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's like what I said earlier with you. It's like we've sort of outsourced our thinking to sort of the brand managers and the advertisers. We've let them think for us, and whatever they say we take at face value. So we need to really peel back those labels and look beyond it. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but actually there are sort of certification standards. Like third-party certifiers, for example. So they have a whole system in place which already set up sort of the principles of what these standards should be for so-called sustainability in that sector. And you have auditors who come in to check for you. So you need to, as consumers, we need to know what labels are real sustainability labels and what labels are fakes. And I mean, there's this whole concept of greenwashing, right? You've heard greenwashing before. So yeah, there's the 7 sins of greenwashing. The sin of being vague and sin of being misleading. So consumers have to sort of tool themselves with these kind of knowledge. Educate yourselves and to know how do you separate the real from the ones who are just trying to lead you on.
Would you say that there's also a concern in the organic movement?
Actually, for the organic, right, there's obviously a lot of suspicion. A lot of people think that if I spend this money, would I be cheated? And so for what we can't speak for the market. But what we can say is that just like what we do, what we can do, because we are consumer, we are organic consumer ourselves, so it has to be something that we are comfortable as well. Like what Sumi say about the certification, we do rely a lot on international certifications when we source products overseas. Although we like very much to source local products, but in Malaysia at this stage there is not a very established standards for per se. So what we still do that, and then what we do is that on top of getting the certification for Just Life, there's already a lot of certified organic products in the market. If you look at that, there are a lot of all sorts of logos. There's no one international standards for organic, so you get all sorts of, like Italy has one, Europe has one, Australia has one, everywhere has one. And what we do is that we like products that has added values like fair trade. To us it's very important because although organic generally they are so-called fair trade, but we do like to work with people who actually supports the community directly. Like we work with one company from Australia, it's called African Pacific. They have this coconut oil. They work with Fijian islands and they work with like 1,500 islands to promote this fair trade concept, whereby they give back to the community directly. So we like companies like that. And we also like companies that very much into, I don't know whether you know about this Demeter certification. Demeter is international. It's actually what we call beyond organic. It's actually a biodynamic farming that they look at not just sustaining the soil, but enriching the soil as well, to give the enriched soil to our future generations. I think that is something that we very much like to promote in our shop.
Kelly, you started Just Life Shop at a time when organic was actually really new. It's more than 10 years ago. Not only that, organic is really expensive, right? It is expensive. I mean, if you have a family, buying organic produce to feed your family can be a really expensive experience, right? So what kinds of ways did you use? Surely branding was part of it, right? Having a label that said organic or having a label that said not GMO was part of that process of trying to educate consumers, right, about the connection between what they were buying and the impact on the environment. So what kind of creative and innovative ways did Just Life use to do that kind of education?
Okay, this is actually quite interesting because every time I thought of these questions, right, I look around, I haven't seen one person gone bankrupt, right, from eating. So so it's like organic is expensive. A lot of times it's really perception. Trust me, I don't know how many of you have been to Just Life. You have? Okay. If you have not, go in and have a look at especially the local produce section and compare it to the supermarket very near to us. you will see that the price is very comparable, especially, yeah, Sume is nodding, because the organic produce, right, the price is very sustainable. You know, it doesn't go up and down according to markets, and you know, in the outside, right, once it goes up, it's very hard to come down. But for organic, the farmers, they don't use a lot of, they don't use any petrochemicals for their farming. Of course, they use that for their transportation. So it does affect if it goes, you know, to a very extreme extent. But so far, it has not, because they use everything that is from nature. So, you know, it's widely available, like, you know, you have coffee waste and coconut waste, you know.
But you're talking about the situation now, right, where there is more demand and hence it becomes cheaper to supply organic produce. In the beginning, organic produce was really expensive. It was far more expensive than the non-organic stuff that you get in the market, right? So what kind of ways did you use, with the Just Life use specifically, to do that kind of education and to convince consumers to make this decision to switch over to organic?
Yeah, actually what we do is that from the beginning, right, we didn't have a method, yeah, of, honestly.
There was no method.
We didn't have a method.
Okay.
To us, we call it journey. We call it journey, you know. It's really a journey of learning. But what inspires us is really sharing the stories. What we do is that because for me, I'm in charge of sourcing as well. So I visit the suppliers, and then what I do is that I bring back their stories and I share with my team. And then you know, they have a chance to ask all sorts of questions. And then and if they believe in it and then they share with the customers, it's always more convincing. And the other thing that we use a lot is that in the early years, now we go online because it's paper-free. And this sort of publication, we call it life stories. We've been publishing life stories for about 6 years, I think, and then we stopped because it's too much paper. Yeah? A lot of paper wasted. So now we try to go online. But that helps as well, because what we do is that we put a lot of stories inside, stories about our producers, stories about our customers who actually, you know, they are true stories, how they started this organic living, and then how it helps their family, and how it helps to educate their children as well. It's like, for me, right, I feel that the most rewarding thing that happened to me, that I get to know organic, is really to naturally pass on this equal message to my children. Because, like, you know, I don't have to force this upon them, and they know naturally why go organic and then why we go meat-free. For example, you know, they understand it. Although they are not meat-free themselves, but they understand why I go meat-free, and then they don't eat as much meat, yeah, compared to other families. So I think that is something that is very natural when you practice it yourself. And talking about from the beginning, yeah, I remember when we first started, our shop was just next to a Pasar Malam, and then in SS2, and the business was really very slow. Yeah, one day we could serve about 4 or 5 customers. That's it. And then my brother and sisters were manning the stores. And on Monday is SS2 Pasar Malam night, right? You all know that. So, and our shop opens till quite late on Monday. We thought we could catch the Pasar Malam crowd, you know. But then the people come into the store and then they pick up the orange, 5 ringgit, and then ran out. So, so it happens. So, but now people are more aware of it, and they know the benefits. We have one customer that came into our store, right, and said that, you know, my kids, right, wouldn't eat any other apples after eating the apples that bought from your store. Why? Because kids know best. They are very sensitive. We are numb already. Yeah, we are a bit fatigued. Taste bud. So for children, right, they are very sensitive. Yeah. So through tasting, we do a lot of tasting, because that is the most convincing thing. Yeah. And why we do that? Because we feel that every 1% that converts to organic, right, that is one hope for the planet. Organic is really not a branding or like what I totally agree with what Sumi said. It's really an overused thing. And even organic, we try not to use the word organic as well. Not just eco that is being misused, organic as well is being overclaimed, and there are a lot of confusion in the market. But what we try to tell people is that these are things that is worth supporting, you know, and that's why we are in this business. Yeah. So, and the other thing that we believe in is this is something that we try to share with our customers as well. You know, you don't wait for anyone to do it. You know, there's no Superman in the world, and what we we really have to start from ourselves. And I think, you know, especially we know the power of votes, right? Especially after the last election, we know the power of votes. So vote with your dollar. You know, everything that you buy, if you spend a little bit of time buying not fake eco products, yeah, genuine eco products, and buying from companies that truly believe in what they are doing and truly, you know, promoting this kind of concept. And I think you are doing a great deal to the planet. Yeah.
Steve, let's talk about your experience with green drinks, and do you have any stories from the green drink events, you know, that really demonstrate that all it takes is a small group of committed individuals to be creative, to make a difference to the planet?
Well, Green Drinks is not that kind of organization. So it's not like an NGO that has a mission and has some kind of metrics or some kind of plan that will see mission accomplished. Green Drinks is just a platform to allow people to meet and drink and chat and talk about things. There are lots of stories. There are lots of... are these green drinkers laughing? I mean, there are lots of stories about people meeting each other and doing a whole bunch of different things. There are a lot of groups that are associated with green drinks, eco-warriors that do tree planting, particularly at the Raja Muda peat swamp, the waterfall survivors that go around cleaning up waterfalls in Malaysia. There's a condo recycling team that go around helping. None of these are directly caused by green drinks, but I think green drinks is there to facilitate this kind of thing. But I mean, I think it'd be useful to think about the quote that's behind your question, which is a Margaret Mead quote.
That's right. Yeah. All it takes is a small group of people who are committed.
Yeah, I use that quote a lot because I think it says quite a lot. So let me read the whole quote. It says, she says, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. That's, you know, I guess we've all heard that quote before. And I think it's useful to remember all the little bits. So never doubt, meaning that there will be doubts in this kind of change process that we're involved in. Small groups, it needs a group of coordinated action to effect change. And the thoughtful and committed people, that's also important to remember. So it needs some kind of understanding of experience, understanding of some foundation of knowledge, and it also speaks to the capacity to reflect on things. The word committed means that it really is action over time, and sometimes those time frames are much, much longer than we anticipate. And so we can go on. And of course, when she says change the world, she's an anthropologist. So for her, the word world means culture. That's what we're trying to change. And part of this whole conversation about sustainability, where we need to go, is quite difficult to think what kind of inputs is needed. And if we're looking at changing culture, yes, we can do a whole bunch of things by committing random acts of greenness that we all can do. But I think we're getting to the point where we've been unsustainable in this world for so long that we really need to go beyond that. Much good though it is, we need to go much beyond that and really look at new theories of change that will really affect systemic change. And of course, changing culture is really difficult. Whenever I think of changing culture, my kind of first reaction is thinking about the women's suffrage movement. You know, so that was the movement that won the right of women to vote. And that should not have been so difficult. It really shouldn't have been so difficult, particularly in a place like America, where they already had the Bill of Rights. And yet it took a bunch of women, a bunch of thoughtful, committed women, who had to go to